Another week in the books. Another Ninjala anime episode comes out. And, I'd rather watch it than shovel 4 inches of snow off the top of my car. I'm gonna have to do that anyway. I think it goes without saying that, again, whoever's the team behind the new revamped Ninjala anime, they nailed it again. They did such a good job with this episode, and honestly, again, we're doing what we did with the last couple episodes, and we're gonna do a little breakdown and discussion of what they did with the episode. And honestly, I think, you know, I don't really have much to say, and I kind of want to get into this episode because it feels like we're finally in a point with the Ninjala animes where we're finally going to be getting into the other character stories, and it was very evident with this one that a lot of the other characters were going to be a side role for this episode, and the main focus was going to be on Van. But that's not to say that this episode was bad by any means, because honestly, visually, vocally, I think everything in this episode was near perfect for what the team could have did, and an absolutely incredible job. And honestly, it all starts with this awesome opening shot, and here we go. The incredible art of the background, and it's just a pan over. Letting you soak in this amazing feeling of, okay, this is like an actual world. This is it feels lived in. There's a lot of people. Of course, you have to have the typical, there's a boat in the port foghorn when you do a shot like this. But it was super, super nice to see the background artists getting some appreciation and love, because most of the stuff with background art, it's mostly digital painting compared to what is actually being animated, where, as you notice with animated characters, oftentimes you often see the outlines on them, and that's an intentional design choice, whereas the backgrounds are usually painted by a completely different team. So it was really nice to see an opening shot with that. And then it kind of cut us over to Burton and Berecca, and you know, Burton's talking about, oh, how do we go back? How do we change back into kids? And he's like, well, if Ninja Gum changed us into kids, what if we chew regular gum? It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work at all. With Burton and Berecca, the whole shtick behind their appearance in this episode is that it's for a comedic bit. But that's not necessarily a bad thing, because again, they're trying to intertwine and weave all the stories together, and they're doing just such a good job of that, and I think that's incredibly important. But what I really find interesting in this episode is after, you know, they cut to Burton and Berecca, they cut back to Ron. And now, Ron talking to his boss, and he says to his boss, "What's the dude have a pet alligator? Are you kidding me?" So now it's established from the last episode, or the episode even before that, actually no, more established from the last episode, that Ron knows they've been kids for the whole time, but now this evil WNA side, or this evil ninja organization, knows that Burton and Berecca are kids, and they task Ron to not only observe them more, but then they task them to literally just hunt them down. He was referring to Ron. So Ron goes off, he continues his observation, and then you get something really interesting, because at this point, Ron now knows the side effects of the Ninja Gum, and he knows what the Ninja Gum does. So another ninja from this evil organization comes in, and he goes, "Sir," and this evil ninja guy goes, "He knows too much," referring to Ron. He says, "Take care of him, Burton, and Berecca." And I think we're gonna see more of that develop as it goes when Ron turns into a kid. So you wonder if this evil side or this entire like rival ninja organization is going to be going after the WNA at some point. I think that's such a cool detail that really can help build the world as they go through with these episodes as well. I was right, technically. They were setting up Ron's backstab. And that makes me think Ron is going to be more of an anti-hero rather than, you know, a downright villain, which he felt like in the first few episodes, which I think a lot of us kind of figured as we even played Ninjala in general. Like, if Ron really wanted to, like, kill Burton and Berecca, he probably would have already done it if you really think about that. But again, with them being ninja descendants and them having access to Ninja Gum, that's a lot harder to do, especially when they're kids. But what I also find interesting about this scene as well is another ninja comes in. He was referring to Ron. And Ron stole the prototype of their Ninja Gum. Potentially. Obviously, we know that Ron handed these folks the Ninja Gum DNA. So I'm thinking that they made their own form of Ninja Gum, this evil organization that opposes the WNA. They definitely seem to have made their own Ninja Gum. And that seems to be valid here. Now, initially, the next line that the evil organization had says is, "Was it him?" And initially, I thought, thinking right in my reaction, that it was Ron who stole the prototype. And that still may be true. Ron still might have some prototype Ninja Gum. But we later learn in the episode that it's actually Van's dad that steals the prototype, and that's how Van gets access to the Ninja Gum in the first place. They don't directly explain it, but if you really think about the story beats, if you look at the ninja later in the episode that Van's dad is fighting, they have the same red scarf as the ninjas from this evil organization. So they already made the prototypes with the data. So it makes me think that Van's dad stole the prototype Ninja Gum because Van's dad, as you guys know, works for the WNA, which is really awesome. And then, of course, for the rest of the episode pretty much cuts to Van and Van's story. And I just have to say, I think it's awesome. It starts with Van ballin'. Van be ballin'. Van be ballin'. Let's go. It's really cute, and they were super faithful, and I mean literally, they're super faithful to the original episode 1, where they talk about Van, and they go through Van's episode, but it looks so good in this style, and I just, I think everything they had with this episode, like I said at the beginning, it's just too perfect. Van will never be ballin'. Let's play the meme, dude. Oh! Oh wow, they're actually going like right for the episode. Really keeping to the original episode 1. He's thinking about the dream the whole time. I love actually the change in dynamic where he wakes up the next day and he's thinking about this the whole time. And he keeps having it. He keeps reliving it. But again, really following the original episode 1. So Van's voice actor, whoever they have doing Van's Japanese voice actor for Van's kid, they're so good, and it fits Van's personality so well. You see the heritage where Van gets a purple hair strand, where his dad and his mom both have a purple streak of hair. But if you notice, actually, it's a really cool detail that Van's mom is not a shinobi, and this was established in the original episode 1. So if you look at her eyes compared to Van's, she doesn't have the little pink glint that Van or his dad has. And I think it's really cute as they're super faithful to episode 1. And Van, much like episode 1, has a nightmare about his dad with an evil ninja coming after him. But I really like, you know, the establishing fact that, hey, their parents are divorced, but it seems like Van's mom and Van's dad are on, like, good terms regardless. And then, obviously, after all the nightmare stuff that Van happens, obviously from the original episode, he looks at that basketball poster that says follow your instinct, and Van goes off to go visit his dad. As we cut back to this, again, the comedic bit with Burton and Berecca with this random fortune teller lady, and it turns out this fortune teller lady is a scam artist, and Berecca and this fortune teller lady just keep going at it, and it's just really funny. And they cut back to Burton just having this concerned smile on his face, but at the same time, you know he's being, like, super smug about it. And I think it's a really cute way to break up the episode, especially because with the episode heavily focusing around Van, it's nice to kind of cut back to the other characters and see what they're doing. And they do the same thing with Emma.
お題ただなんですよね。玉のお題じゃ。親御さんに渡しな。何それ詐欺じゃない。詐欺とは聞き捨てならん。取ったら返品はできん。やっぱり詐欺じゃない。詐欺とは聞き捨てならん。よいか。それは霊言が新たかな漆黒の。じゃあ返す。一度受け取ったら返品はできん。やっぱり詐欺じゃない。詐欺。
And it continues.
よいか。それは霊言が新たかな漆黒の。じゃあ返す。一度受け取ったら返品はできん。やっぱり詐欺じゃない。詐欺とは。
Good thing they interrupted that scene when they did, because that would have went on for a while. I like that. A little adding to Emma's story a little bit. But what I really like about this episode, specifically with Van and his whole scene, is that when Van actually gets to his dad's house, he looks up at the boat that's hanging from the ceiling that was in the original episode 1, but there's a bunch of, like, flashbacks of Van and his dad, and it's something we didn't get to see in episode 1, and I thought they did just such a really good job with this. But again, really following the original episode 1, so... Well, not entirely. Again, adding a couple details here and there, but it works so well. That's cute. But what I really like is they changed the way the fight between Van's dad and the evil ninja of the organization, again, having that red scarf, plays out. Instead of his dad, you know, finding out that Van's in the garage the other way, Van sees his dad fighting this other ninja and shouts to him from the window. And this evil ninja's like, ooh, I can end the bloodline, and throws a firebomb into the window. Destroy the child! Destroy the bloodline! It's literally his thought. I like that they technically changed the fight up a little bit, too, with this. Because now his dad doesn't just end him right away, or end the ninja end his opponent right away, literally puts Van in a bad spot, forcing his dad to do it. And now, you put Van's dad on a little bit of a timer, and it's like, okay, well, we know Van's gonna be fine if you guys watch the original episode 0, but it adds a little bit, like, of tension to the situation, which I really enjoy, because now Van's dad is fighting for something, instead of knowing that Van is in the house, because in the original episode, Van screams after the building's on fire. The building doesn't, like, go, like, the evil ninja doesn't light the building on fire accidentally like he does in episode 1, in the original episode 1. Instead, Van is the direct cause of why this building gets set on fire. You get the cool action sequence of Van's dad ending the evil organization ninja, or so you think, until Van's dad actually runs into the building and the evil ninja comes back out from the shadows to throw another firebomb in the building. But it's not just a firebomb, it's a bomb, and it knocks Van's dad literally straight into the wall. And eventually that leads up to the situation where the canoe falls on Van's dad, and then you have Van's dad pull out that prototype piece of ninja gum, which I think is really cool, and give it to Van, which again is telling me that Van's dad stole this from this evil organization to possibly give it back to the WNA, seeing that this organization is replicating it, but instead gives it to Van, and we get a better look or a better idea of Van's shinobi powers, and it seems to be he is a shinobi of the wind, where his screams or his like latent ninja abilities allows him to control wind currents, which I think is just such a neat thing. What is it is Gen Ryusai. But like Van's thing, he can just use like a wind scream. I think that's kind of neat. That's kind of sick. It's so much clearer what kind of powers Van has in the new revamped anime than it was in the old episodes, where it's like, oh, is that just like a shinobi surge? No. They make it clear in this episode that this is some wind power that Van has when he's awakened with the power of shinobi. And then you basically get what was the rest of episode 0. But instead of Gen Ryusai giving Van an ultimatum, where it's like, we will protect your dad only if you join the WNA, they leave it up to Van to make the choice rather than giving him an ultimatum.
忍びの血を引くものじゃ。世界忍者協会。安心なされ。マックスは我々が保護する。バーンよ。
That's cute.
父上のこと、己のことをもっと知りたいか。え？あなたが決めなさい。母さん。
No longer just an ultimatum, giving him an actual choice. Cut back to the flashback where Van goes and finds the basement under his father's garage, and then we get another scroll shinobi flashback where it tells the story of, okay, the shinobi moved out west, they struck gold, they met with the natives, they were met with all sorts of interesting indigenous western weapons, which in this case was, you know, guns. I don't know, I just think they did a really good job setting up this episode. And when Van finally accepts that he wants to be a ninja like his father, we cut back to the other person who is training to be a ninja, which is Kappei. And Kappei is dreaming of being a ninja and sleeping. And Gen Unsai, his brother, as we know, if you guys, they establish this in story mode chapter 2 in actual Ninjala, in the actual game of Ninjala. But Gen Unsai and Gen Ryusai are brothers. Gen Unsai lives in, I think it's Udon or Odin, with Kappei in, like, the woods and stuff like that, and that's where how Kappei trains. Where, again, Ryusai is responsible for the WNA.
俺も忍者になれる。俺、父さんみたいになる。忍者になる。
The determination on his face.
君にその覚悟はあるか？
俺やるよ。父さんみたいにいい忍者になって悪い奴を倒
すんだ。Cut to the other ninja in training. It's just such a nice detail as they connect, as they interweave and connect every story together. Again, they did a really good job And we cut to Jane, and it's been a while since we've seen Jane. We only saw her at, like, the beginning of episode 2. Now we see her at the end of episode 3, after Van's story is wrapped up, and Jane, simply put, she's in. She's into the WNA database. Jane's gonna get some really interesting stuff in terms of how she's gonna be turning into a kid now, because they've established that Jane, I believe, works in the same building. She works in the evil ninja organization's building, in the intelligence division. So they work for Ron and Jane. It seems like it's established they work for the same higher up of the ninja, or the big evil shinobi dude in the red suit, which is neat. So I'm interested to see how they do that with Jane, and I think Ron's backstab is going to also play a big part into, again, why Jane turns into a kid, or more of a bigger part, I should say, of why Jane turns into a kid. Because remember, again, Jane does not go to the lab and get the data and then get ambushed. So they have to change something to make Jane turn into a kid, and I'm interested to see how they're going to do that. And then the episode, I guess, leaves off on Lucy alone again, and GungHo, stop breaking my heart! No! Stop breaking my heart, GungHo! Every time you do this! But, of course, then I learned at the end of this episode that the next episode is going to focus on Lucy, so, you know, I'm pretty happy about that. We will protect Lucy with our lives. But, man, I mean, really, they were so faithful with this episode. I think all the voice acting in this episode was great. I didn't notice too many things off model. I think the background art was incredible. This episode was, besides the, like, episode 1 of the anime, I think this one is my favorite one so far, by far. I think everything flows nicely. I think all the cuts are well placed. I think the action sequences are small, but they're effective. The tension building is very good, and the storytelling is just improving beyond an incredible scale, and I really can't wait to see what they do going forward with the Ninjala anime episodes as we go through. But let me know what you guys thought of all the Ninjala anime so far. Obviously, episode 4 is going to be coming next week. Episode 3 is out for this week, but let me know what you guys thought of episode 3, of course, down in the comment section below. Let me know what you thought, what your favorite part, I should say, of this episode was. For me, it's the whole thing. I think they just kind of blew it out of the water. So, of course, if you guys are enjoying this kind of content as well, and I know you guys have been enjoying the Ninjala episodes as well, and these little breakdowns, do me a favor, if you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button as we go forward, talking about Ninjala anime as we talk about Ninjala and talking about other awesome things on this channel. And of course, until then, this is CAJ Man 777 signing off. Stay safe, everybody.